This is Chris Fletcher with Fletcher, Rohrbaugh, and C.I.N.C. Let's talk a little bit about child in need of care actions. The acronym for a child in need of care case is a C.I.N.C, C-I-N-C. C.I.N.C cases involve children, but they are usually very different than divorce cases. The child is the main focus in a child in need of care case. In most instances of filing, there's something going on with the family where there's some type of an abuse or neglect situation. Typically, you may have a parent that is absent and another parent that is failing to be able to adequately provide for a child. But there are also a number of scenarios where the child is truly the issue. Either we have some mental health concerns with the child that the parents can't handle anymore, special needs children such as with Down syndrome and autism that parents may not be equipped to handle, or kids that are simply runaways. I get involved in child in need of care cases in a number of ways. One way is that I do accept appointments by the court to represent a child, is what is called a guardian ad litem. The acronym for that is GAL. My job in that scenario is to focus on the child and present to all parties what I believe is in the child's best interest. Typical examples of a child in need of care matter would be if there is a parent missing. Often there is a parent may be deceased, a parent may be unavailable, gone, or in prison, and the other parent has fallen short of being able to adequately raise the child. There may be homelessness issues, there could be transportation issues. Oftentimes there's a mental health component, and a lot of times as well there is a necessary counseling component between the parent and the child, because the relationship can be extremely broken, and all those things, if these cases are handled correctly, are addressed during the process of a child in need of care case. Typically, when a child in need of care case is filed, there is what's called a temporary custody hearing. At that hearing, the court would review the petition and listen to statements of the counsel or the individuals that are present in court and that have a right to be present in court, and make a determination as to whether that child would remain in the home or whether that child should be removed from the home. For purposes of this specific meeting, the court has to presume that the content of the petition is true in order to make an assessment. The court will determine whether a child should be removed based on the content of the petition and the input of the parties. If the court determines that an emergency does exist, then that child would be removed from the home, most likely be placed in D.C.F custody, and then D.C.F, the Division of Children and Family Services, would have the authority to make an appropriate placement. Placements could include anywhere from foster care to other kin, or to even a non-relative, what they call a non-relative kin placement. In the vast majority of cases, there is what is called a reintegration plan that's entered into. Basically, it is a written plan giving each parent, if both parents are available, or one parent if only one parent is available, a number of tasks to complete over a period of time. The typical reintegration plan length is 6 months, and as they complete these tasks get reported to the appropriate agency, and they're monitored and tracked. And assuming that they are able to progress as they need to through the reintegration plan, ultimately the social workers will be looking at placement of that child or of those children back with the parent that is successfully completing the reintegration plan. Once that process completes, ultimately the matter would be dismissed. Typically, once the matter is dismissed, there is a year of what's called aftercare, where social workers would still be checking in on the family periodically to make sure that everything was still up to par. I really like to handle child in need of care cases. I like to be a part of trying to rebuild something. I really focus, if I can, on reintegration. If I'm representing a child, I know that generally the child will want to reintegrate with the parent. I try to figure out how we could get to that plateau we need to be, where I believe that it's in the best interest to have the child go back home and be with their parent. If you're a parent or a grandparent that's involved in a child need of care case, or if you're a concerned individual, either a parent or grandparent, regarding a child that you feel like may be in need, feel free to contact me either through our website or by phone, and I will be happy to set up a consult.